In the flickering glow of a computer screen, shadows dance in the dark corners of a room, a soft hum of electronics the only witness to the secrets whispered into the void. This is where curiosity meets anonymity, a realm woven from the collective consciousness of a digitally inclined society. Behind layers of encryption and untraceable paths lies the deep web, a vast, uncharted territory that defies the rules of the ordinary internet. It exists like an iceberg, majestic and unfathomable beneath the water's surface. But how far can we delve before we lose ourselves in the depths? Imagine, if you will, the spine-tingling allure of the unknown. A pair of eager fingers hover above a keyboard, heart racing. What awaits on the other side? The muted promise of forbidden knowledge, tantalizing deals, or even connections formed in the shadows of pseudonyms. Each search is an invitation, luring the brave and the reckless alike into a labyrinth from which few return unchanged. Visit the world's hidden marketplaces where the digital shelves brim with unregulated allure. They host everything from virtual weaponry to illicit drugs, each transaction a gamble cloaked in the obscurity of anonymity. Through the electric pulse of this hidden web, users stride boldly, emboldened by the promise of freedom from the watchful eyes of a digital overseer. Anonymity can be both shield and sword, a sanctuary for those who seek refuge from prying narratives, yet a weapon in the hands of those ready to exploit the vulnerable. On the surface, the internet offers a seeming accessibility, news, entertainment, connection, but beneath lies an undercurrent of tension, an existential tug-of-war between desire for freedom and fear of what lurks in the shadows. Are the shadows harboring innovation and rebellion, or do they conceal chaos and corruption? The answer is often obscured by the very technology that shapes our experience. As technological advances hasten to meet societal demands, a subtle revolution unfolds. The rise of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin unlocks wallets guarded not by banks, but by anonymity and encryption, transplanting the ethos of free speech into the steely heart of commerce. Here lies a paradox. Does the very act of shielding identity nurture an environment for exploration, or does it ultimately descend into moral decay? Let us linger for a moment over a silent realization. In this digital age, knowledge can be both boon and bane. A treasure should one seek it responsibly, an abyss should the fingers of avarice guide the search. This tension breathes life, a somber reminder of human fragility amid a cacophony of choices that echoes the complexities of human nature itself. Consider the profiles of those individuals who dare to traverse this unseen land, young hackers whose fingers dance nimbly across keyboards, a fire ignited by the challenge of breaking barriers and unraveling truths thought too heavy to bear. They are not without consequence, oftentimes reminiscent of both myth and reality, outlaw heroes in a digital Greek tragedy, embodying humanity's incessant struggle between order and chaos. Their motivations unfold as complexities of ambition, peer acceptance, and the unyielding desire for victory against the establishment. And yet, amidst these triumphs, do we grasp the cost of such rebellion? With every trigger pulled from an unseen hand, awaits the inevitable repercussion, the chill of authority looming, the unmistakable footsteps of justice quickening their pace. The lure of anonymity tempts individuals toward profound actions, yet with each click and scroll comes the haunting realization, in the hunt for power, the true prey may be one's own humanity. Across the globe, as users dive deeper into the digital underbelly, societal narratives begin to shift. The early explorers of the internet, once bold in their dreams of free expression, are now joined by darker intentions, hacktivists, traffickers, souls seduced by misplaced promises. Their journeys lead to unforeseen intersections of lives, a young mother in pursuit of solace armed with the hope of liberation in a digital expanse, an academic once consumed by naivety, drawn into the seedy threads of discourse that pivot from exploration into the violent narratives of disillusionment. Despite the trepidation, fascination lingers like fog clutching to earth. A new world beckons through the screen, extending an olive branch of anonymity that unfurls into the very fabric of existence. But does this semblance of liberation serve to empower the individual or unravel the cohesive bonds of society itself? We stand on the precipice of an ethical cliff, where ventures into the deep web echo the visceral struggle for self-realization, each exploratory step as precarious as it is thrilling. Yet the deeper we dive, the more disquieting the true realities become. The digital landscape does not exist in isolation. It mimics the intricate tapestry of societal woes, power imbalances, inequality, the insidious decay of empathy. Stripped of their physical forms, the actors within this web engage in a dance as old as humanity itself, desire intertwining with desperation, virtue caught in a web of vice. The allure beckons, but curiosity carries with it an inherent danger. Each pathway taken can alter not just the perceptions of the seeker, but the very social constructs we build. Fear, ambition, and exhaustion intermingle, shaping a generation that aches for validation and constantly struggles against the constraints of a digitally fueled world. In the stillness of those moments before entering this abyss, a singular question awaits, persistent. Do we venture deeper, daring to expose our souls to the kaleidoscope of choice, or do we retreat, taking shelter in the comforts of the known? In the unraveling of these tangled wires, a mosaic of humanity reveals itself, each piece testament to our desires, failures, and the constant struggle between ambition and vulnerability. As we stand at the gateway to a world cloaked in secrecy, a storm brews on the digital horizon, a collision of ideals, ambitions, and fears. Curiosity is a flame that fuels our exploration, but will it also lead us to illumination, or will it cast us further into the chaos of our own making? The search for answers begins now, inviting us to step beyond the veil of the ordinary and sink into the depths of what lies beneath, a journey into the heart of the deep web. This dawning era of anonymity, emerging as a vibrant yet volatile undercurrent, is set against the backdrop of a world steeped in the intricacies of politics and societal change. The birth of the deep web is as much a tale of technological strides as it is of cultural evolution. As the internet burgeoned into a global communicator, reshaping how we engage with one another, the desire for privacy emerged parallel to this growth, fueled by geopolitical tensions that permeated society like a chilling specter. At the core of this invisible revolution lies the influential progeny of the military's ARPANET, a gargantuan leap from classified domain to the vast expanse of connectivity that we know today. It signals a shift, whisking individuals from isolated data points to interwoven threads of shared human experience. Yet out of this explosive growth arises a contrasting desire, the longing for places of solitude where free thoughts may flourish without the heavy hand of judgment or consequence. Cryptography becomes a key player in this narrative, a modern-day digital alchemy that serves as both a protective gaze over secrets and a tool of insidious intent. Its roots stretch back centuries, existing as a silent guardian of communication since civilization desired confidentiality. But as cryptographic technologies generated impenetrable walls, they also constructed bridges leading to untamed new territories. With each fortified line of code, a promise emerged. Anonymity is power, and its wielders can traverse existing hierarchies, seeking the paths less traveled, the truths obscured from mainstream discourse. The irresistible pull of underground communities burgeons, catalyzed by a sense of belonging that echoes through digital corridors. Like the coffee houses and salons of yesteryears, where artists, scholars, and revolutionaries mingled, these new spaces serve as forums for free thinkers, igniting the flicker of radical ideas in a world craving reform, ideas that challenge the status quo. The blending of cultural liberation with technological prowess generates ideals resonant with the old revolutionary spirits, where every keystroke fuels an existential inquiry, a rebellion against prescribed norms that dictate existence. Yet even as curiosity unearths pathways previously cloaked in shadow, an undercurrent of unrest forms. The fragility of this experiment encircles us like an unseen fog. It whispers of financial desperation and social inequality, feeding the hunger for risk and temptation that reels individuals deeper into darkness. The deepening chasm between societal elites and the marginalized amplifies, creating fertile ground for exploitation and vice. Each seductive promise of gain draws the disenchanted, making it painfully clear that in the pursuit of a liberated existence, the line between transaction and treachery becomes ominously threadbare. As young idealists reach out to discover answers, a psychological tug-of-war brews, a battle not unlike those fought within the minds of intellectuals throughout history. The conflicts manifest not only in the context of commerce and traffic, but also resonate in questions of morality and ethics. For every new idea that rebels against oppression, another is born from the clutches of greed. The manifold identities born from a single keystroke may deconstruct societal boundaries, yet they also risk fragmenting the very essence of the human experience. In the digital veins crisscrossing cities and towns, the rise of marketplaces like Silk Road further amplifies this tension. Each transaction moves swiftly on invisible currents, leaving in its wake a disquieting acknowledgement of human nature. Here, the very act of buying and selling becomes laden with narratives filled with desperation, ambition, and consequence, painting a troubling portrait of a modern society grappling with disillusionment and dreams of escape. The haggle reflects a push against regulatory structures, yet beneath the excitement lives a truth too often overlooked: the humanity that pulses beyond screens, lives intertwined by the striving for freedom and the perils of uncharted territory. While traditional marketplaces sustain relations forged on trust and goods exchanged, in these digital alleys trust becomes the currency of the underground. Trust is a fragile construct, easily betrayed as faceless avatars dominate the scene. Behind pseudonyms, deception runs rampant. With peaks of success come valleys of disillusionment. The wild thrill of exploration can abruptly unravel into treachery as victims of scams and manipulation articulate their own reckoning. As we inch closer to these hidden factions, here we find truth shaded by shades of grey, the symbiotic dance of agency and consequence, echoing broader societal issues that fester just beneath the surface. In contrast to the desire for unfettered exploration lies the looming spectre of authority, enforcement agencies vigilant in their watch. The dance of freedom and obstruction plays out with an unsettling rhythm. Governments scramble to establish frameworks against nebulous foes, their tentacles reaching into the deep web, navigating threads that seem to dissolve as quickly as they appear. In this game of cat and mouse, anonymity entwines with fear, creating a potent cocktail of rebellion and control. Each plunge into the depths invites vigilance, but who exactly defines the line between security and surveillance? Compelled by a shared sense of urgency, law enforcement hopes to counter those who exploit anonymity's guise. Cybercrime units form alliances, their fingertips tracing virtual trails, racing to stay ahead of shadowy figures who elude capture. The intrinsic fear of what lies beyond knowledge's purview looms larger each day, as authorities grapple with the unknowns of the internet and the legacy of the ideals once heralded by early pioneers of digital communication. In this weighty exchange, we must pause. What role do we inhabit as technological advancements collide with the timeless struggle for power and trust? Amidst this maelstrom of motivations lies another narrative unfurling, a raw human pulse that beats, persistently unyielding in its search for connection. With every digital interaction, ordinary individuals venture seeking community, healing, or perhaps redemption from a life too fraught with reality. Through jarring testimonials, we hear the unwavering echoes of their stories, the dreamers chasing the spectre of satisfaction, the seekers of belonging finding solace in dark corners, each bearing their own burdens while tasting the heady thrill of liminality. Every interaction deepens the collective consciousness of this new society, a reflection of humanity itself. To dive below the surface of the deep web is to beckon forth discussions that mirror age-old queries. What does freedom truly mean? Can liberation coalesce with responsibility? And as we traverse frames saturated in anonymity, does our shared humanity flicker like a distant fire, waiting to be reignited against the expansive backdrop of the unknown? Yet as the excitement mounts, we must not lapse into naivety. The phantoms lurking beneath this seemingly boundless landscape remind us that even in anonymity, suffering intertwines with ambition, loss intertwining with gain. Here we find the same complexities that thread through the fabric of existence, the raw pursuit of desire dovetailed with vulnerabilities exposed, rendering the human adventure both perilous and beautiful. In the heart of this digital wilderness, the audience intentionally straddles a precipice. With each pulse through the circuits beneath our fingertips, unease simmers, a collective curiosity, a questioning spirit, all attempting to put forth meaning as discoveries unfold. We are confrontational in our inquiries, engaging in a space where morality and technology swirl in an intricate dance, one tease of the questions that weave the tapestry of our humanity, echoing long after those shadows have fallen silent. Here, in the depth of the web's intricate design, we prepare to confront the mounting tension of the unseen conflict awaiting. Path of our exploration remains vast and layered, tantalizing us toward an impending rapture that promises to challenge everything we hold true. Will we tread carefully, or will the rush of curiosity motley determine our fates as we uncover further secrets woven into the threads of the deep web? As the boundaries of identity continue to unravel, the looming question awaits: what lies on the other side of clarity drawn from the shadows? What truths long buried are on the cusp of exposure? Our awakening is on the horizon, and we'll soon find that the journey, steeped in complexities and choices, unveils more than we initially dared to imagine. As we dive deeper into this labyrinthine world of the deep web, let us wander together through its alleys, each pulse a reminder of the lives hidden within the shadows. Here, the structures of conventional society melt away, replaced by a landscape punctuated by digital graffiti, an auditory hymn of keystrokes that whisper collective tales of lost dreams, ambition, desires unmet, and the daring pursuit of freedom. This realm, often depicted as a haven for despair and danger, pulsates with an undercurrent of shared humanity, each interaction a brushstroke on the ever-evolving canvas of human experience. Families living in cramped quarters with flickering screens illuminate the darkness, where children navigate their own formative identities tethered to online narratives. In these homes, conversations weave through the fabric of secrecy, fostering discussions that oscillate between fascination and fear. Parents, weary yet resigned, find themselves straddling the duality of concerns, a desire to protect their children from the potential harm lurking in the shadows, while simultaneously recognizing the allure and new opportunities the digital world affords them. In a societal structure that often reveals its fractures, the digital realm serves as both a sanctuary and a battleground, an arena where aspiring narratives rush forth from every click, transcending the constraints of physical reality. Occupations inside this intricate tapestry vary dramatically, mirroring the spectrum of human ambition and desperation. From hackers who mold their art into cryptographic masterpieces, navigating the delicate balance between illicit gain and ethical considerations, to the burgeoning trade of digital services and goods, where anonymity cloaks entrepreneurs in both peril and promise, each role is steeped in high stakes. Workers in these shadowy enterprises form communities as vibrant as the most bustling marketplaces above, where barter and trade of not only goods but ideas flourish in a space freed from the watchful eye of authority. It becomes a delicate ecosystem, one meticulous keystroke at a time, each individual a cog in the grand machinery weaving together the intricate threads of commerce and conflict. Amid the backdrop of trading transactions and online avatars, the culinary landscape finds its own representation within the deep web. Food, a fundamental connector of human experience, morphs into a digital delight for the palate, pivoting into realms of delivery systems that both nurture and expose the vulnerabilities of illicit practices. From the enticing aroma of home-cooked meals, often traded among communities with purposeful abandon, emerges a reminder that even here desire can morph into desperation. In the kitchen of an unseen server, clandestine recipes intertwine, forming recipe cultures shared among users who seek comfort from a reality too harsh to confront. The act of sharing and feasting becomes a way to foster connection and belonging in a world that often severs ties. Yet tradition remains alive even in the most unexpected places. Rituals of celebration break through the confines of this digital underworld amid the cacophony of action. Online birthdays, ceremonies of initiation, and even communal mourning become vivid expressions of life. They connect the past with the present, challenging the belief that technology dehumanizes. Here lies the truth, that within this tangled web exists a deep yearning for connection, for identity forged in the fires of collective narrative. It is an affirmation of existence in shared spaces, echoing the age-old traditions of humanity yearning to bow its head in both joy and despair together. While daily life weaves relentlessly on, citizens of this digital community grapple with the stark asymmetries of social hierarchies. Power structures thrust them into a whirlwind where their most vulnerable ambitions collide with the sharp edge of exploitation. In the darkness, the haunting undertones of inequality fester. Digital elites with access to higher consoles wield influence, relegating others to the margins of this labyrinthine existence. Here we find echoes of social tensions reverberating through the anonymous exchanges that shape behavior. The constant interplay of control and submission shaping lives profoundly. Those caught in the wheel of ambition clamor to ascend, while others languish in the quagmire of desperation, fatigue weighing heavily on their weary aspirations. Yet relationships generated in these chambers of anonymity, fostered through mutual recognition of shared struggle, begin to take root. We see friendships blossom among those who daringly tread into this grotesque paradise, interspersed with hidden cruelties. Individuals navigating the same treacherous waters forge bonds that resonate across screens, each narrative imbued with struggles of resilience. Forged in the fires of adversity, these connections breathe life into the digital expanse, pushing against the adversities of isolation and forging new understandings of kinship against screens that allow them to shield their identities. Yet as we observe this intricate balance flourishing among the chaos, we cannot ignore the harsh realities that coalesce within this existence. The very anonymity that nurtures community simultaneously cultivates a breeding ground for the malevolent, those who exploit trust for illicit agendas, targeting vulnerable souls. The fragility of human emotion finds countless opportunities for manipulation as predators lurk in these shadows, navigating the fine line between camaraderie and betrayal. As stories emerge from the edges, victims recount their encounters with deception, revealing the haunting ramifications of their online quests. Layers of security and isolation leave scars that fracture hearts, a visceral reminder that, amid the allure of anonymity's power, lies an ever-present risk too often overshadowed by desire. Against this tumultuous backdrop, united by conflicting emotions, surfaces the constant threat of surveillance, as authorities remain relentless in their quest to infiltrate gatherings and communities woven through hidden forums. Flickering screens dimly illuminate consciousness, as state powers grow increasingly watchful, placing the agency of the digital denizens on edge. Here individuals grapple with the very essence of existence, a fear of exposure that intertwines with their search for identity, a bittersweet dance of liberation cradling echoes of dread. Beneath this invisible orchestration runs a current of anxiety, a hesitation born from years of learned distrust as laws lag behind technological advancements. With each new development, the balance between freedom and the risks of exposure torments souls caught in the dual web of ambition and vigilance. In this dance of shadows, a quiet tension resonates, the amassed forces of volatility and curiosity poised on the brink of transformation, yet often veiled in the chorus of everyday life. As we journey through this dimension, we sense the human spirit pulsating with resilience, for even as darkness encroaches, glimmers of hope emerge among the connections formed amidst the deepest recesses. Each digital nook a nuanced reminder that while the shadows will continue to beckon, the flame of human desire burns resiliently, and as the boundaries of revelation stretch beyond conventional understanding, we posit our existence within a landscape awakening to the truth of our connectivity. In this moment, held within the breath of key presses, the hiss of undercurrents, the heartbeat of hope against uncertainty, the narrative of the deep web unfurls. With each passage deeper into this intricately woven fabric, the audience hovers on the precipice, poised at the junction of liberation and vulnerability, imagination ignited against consumption. What emerges as we stand before this crossroads? What latent truths remain within the confines of our shared humanity, circulating amidst whispers forged beneath surfaces unseen? As we inch closer toward unraveling the fibers of connection, we find ourselves tangled within the question that cradles our imagination. Can one navigate the depths of anonymity while simultaneously tethering oneself to the essence of empathy in the ever-evolving quest for understanding? When the veil lifts, what reflections stare back, illuminating all we ever dared to dream? A world unscripted awaits patiently, propelled by curiosity, daring us to uncover mysteries wrapped in digital tendrils. The journey persists, bracing itself against the promise of insights that lay just beyond reach. As we traverse this ever-shifting landscape, the profound evolution of the deep web is underscored by a constellation of critical developments, each weaving a thread into the intricate tapestry of digital existence. In many ways, the emergence of this hidden realm reflects deeper transformations at play within society, an intricate waltz between technology and humanity, where shadows dance with light, and the intangible nature of knowledge provokes both fervent curiosity and a gnawing trepidation. Here, the motivations of hackers, traders, and visionaries coalesce, as the lure of anonymity breeds not only illicit desires but also revolutionary ideas, a testament to the profound duality of human experience in the digital age. The deep web began as a sanctuary for those who sought refuge from oppressive political structures and societal constraints. It held the promise of freedom, an enticing escape that only the bold dared to embrace. Yet, while many sought entry to this labyrinth to foster communities that spanned oceans and overcome borders, the very technology that granted them anonymity simultaneously structured new forms of power. The tools of encryption, once the domain of national defense and corporate espionage, swiftly translated into the hands of the everyday user. New alliances formed on the fringes of cyberspace, driven both by noble intent and self-serving ambition, a space blossoming into a microcosm of social dynamics where hierarchies were rewritten. This digital renaissance, however, was not without its turbulent undertones. Political tensions surfaced anew as nation-states sought to reclaim control over the unbridled chaos brewing within this virtual domain. Governments responded with force, asserting authority born out of fear and the instinct to protect. In that climate of heightened pressure, one could almost hear the silent war drums echoing in the distance, the race to contain an uncontrollable force where the line between order and anarchy fizzled into uncertainty. The birth of the deep web thus laid bare a tumultuous dance of ambition, as various actors vied for dominance in this enigmatic realm. At the forefront of this transformation stood a myriad of hackers. Some wore the mantle of rogue heroes, donning capes of anonymity as they fought against corporate and governmental oppression, while others embraced the darker aspects of their digital prowess, becoming puppeteers in the shadows. The distinction between good and evil became increasingly nebulous, an ideological churning that reflected humanity's historical struggle against authority. In this vast web of competing ideologies, the commitment to social change lived alongside unrepentant avarice, twisting the moral compass of all who entered. As the decade turned, notorious marketplaces such as Silk Road emerged as bellwethers of this duality. Birthplaces of promise and peril, these platforms operated through an intricate ballet of supply and demand, a dizzying performance where each transaction resonated with the raw pulse of human hunger. Anonymity flourished amid vibrant exchanges of everything from artificial intelligence-generated artworks to illegal substances, bridging distant lands and cultures in ways that often defied conventional understanding. Here one could find stolen art jostling for attention next to artisanal creations, a testimony to human creativity thriving even in the edges of legality, a paradox illustrating the dreams those who sought to vanish into the shadows held dear. As wealth and influence shifted, darkness pooled in the corners of the deep web. Criminal syndicates, their grasp coiling tighter, began to see opportunity in the excitement gushing forth from anonymity's embrace. Out of these underground economies rose entire networks that thrived upon exploitation, leveraging the shadows to fulfill insatiable appetites for power and currency. In their wake, the ethical dimension of the deep web began to fray, unveiling exploitation that mirrored societal decay. With ambition driving the trade network further into treachery, the heartbeats of marginalized users began to echo in synchrony with the pulse of an unforgiving machine. This burgeoning chaos attracted the attention of law enforcement agencies worldwide, igniting a race against the clock, a veritable game of cat and mouse against an ever-evolving opponent. These forces attempted to establish order, plunging into the fray with metaphoric lightsabers drawn, ready to engage in a battle that blurred the lines between justice and control. Stacked against bold idealism, authorities labored tirelessly in an effort to dismantle growing criminal enterprises, their mission to safeguard society against the torrent of deceit and desperation rising from the underbelly of the web. Come the raids and arrests, the narratives of catastrophic loss began to emerge, tales spun from the threads of shattered dreams and ambitions, an emotional tapestry that spoke to the human cost of idealism gone awry. Society outside the confines of the digital labyrinth began to draw its own conclusions about the function of the deep web, spurred on by sensationalized reports and public outcries. Fear rippled through communities as the allure of anonymity became entangled with the narratives of malevolence and vice, overshadowing the stories of those using its vastness to seek out knowledge or a better life. Here, individuals found themselves ensnared in webs of misconception, creating a new kind of isolation pointedly highlighting our inherent craving for understanding, even in complex realities. This escalating societal pressure and shifting public perception naturally intersected with the zeitgeist of reform movements. Throughout history, moments of crisis have often propelled societies to rethink their frameworks, dismantling archaic parameters in favor of progressive ideas. Yet within this realm, where rapid technological growth accelerated societal transformations, one was left to wonder, could any sense of equilibrium be reached? The desire for adaptability wrestled against the fear of losing hard-fought gains, with users left to navigate an ever-constricting environment marked by state surveillance and moral quandaries. As reform efforts took center stage, emerging technology birthed shifts that altered the very fabric of existence in this digital domain. Some users became ardent proponents of alternative visions of privacy, harnessing innovative tools to strengthen their resolve against the encroaching state machinery. And yet steady discord echoed within these evolving communities, depicting the divisions both ideological and emotional that became an inherent part of this movement. The fight for privacy transformed into a nuanced struggle illuminating deeper fissures within society, each battle an illustration of the human spirit grappling with its socio-technological landscape. As we peel back the layers of this increasingly complex world, we find that the deep web served as both a mirror and a magnifying glass, reflecting the hopes, fears, and ambitions of those who dared to delve into its depths. It revealed not only the fragility of human connection amid rising inequality and suspicion, but also the relentless passion of individuals striving to forge alliances in a digital age laden with limitless potential and profound risks. The narrative continued to unfold, as the boundaries of morality blurred against the churning tides of ambition, sweeping us through an uncharted territory fraught with emotion and insight. With every keystroke echoing realizations of vulnerability and aspiration alike, the specter of inevitability loomed, what lies ahead in this unending quest for understanding. As individuals and power structures shifted, so too did the reality of the interconnected world, inviting reflection upon the fragility of trust amidst the dazzling possibilities of the digital realm. The deep web, in its myriad forms, lays bare a poignant truth: one must grapple with the shadows as we seek the light. For what emerges from these depths, threaded with the inherent complexities of human nature, becomes a testament to the resilience of our search for meaning in a world on the brink of transformation. The clicks of a mouse resonate like the ticking of a clock, as we stand vigilant at the intersection of consequence and insight. The narrative, ever-evolving and endlessly complex, whispers softly in the spaces between connection, a call to the depths of our shared humanity as we move forth into the unknown. As the deep web emerged from the recesses of anonymity, it began to morph into a landscape marked by both ambition and chaos, a site where the interplay of human desire clashed fiercely with societal conventions. This would not merely become a tale of illicit transactions and shadowy dealings. It unfolded into a chronicle of the human condition under the gaze of unyielding technological advancement. Layers of memory flowed through the drifting currents of this digital frontier, each line of code and transfer of data preserving echoes of ambition and consequence, harvesting the weight of aspirations and fears from disparate lives. In the midst of this transformation, a cascade of turning points began to unfold, moments etched firmly into the fabric of history, a poignant reminder that the ambition to innovate often arrives hand in hand with an unanticipated social cost. The rise of clandestine marketplaces became emblematic of newfound freedom and trepidation, crystallizing a societal fascination with the infamous Silk Road, where the exchange of goods underscored the duality of existence in the unseen corners of the internet. This was a manifestation of deep-rooted anxieties, as individuals thrived and floundered within the chiaroscuro shadows. Here, hidden among the pixels, the hopes of the collective thrummed discordantly with anxieties. The very act of trading gave rise to existential questions. Against this stirring backdrop, those who sought entry into this brave new world were often swept away by the exhilarating rush of potential. Yet the emotional toll began to manifest as the burgeoning dark underbelly of the deep web slowly took shape, growing into a breeding ground for exploitation. With the tensions coiling tighter, it became clear that the unthinkable consequences of unchecked ambition rippled forward, like waves crashing against a crumbling shoreline. Fear and uncertainty flooded not only the depths of cyberspace but the very hearts of its inhabitants, as they navigated a maze laden with both allure and dread. As the appetites of individuals and organizations collided, the institutional structures designed to safeguard society writhed under the pressure. Law enforcement agencies found themselves racing against rising tides, witnessing the evolution of cyber-organized crime through a lens fraught with disbelief. The very technologies that promised liberation now acted as an adversary. A relentless surge of illegal activities enveloped the moral landscape, pushing authorities into a state of reaction, often leaving them grappling with a fathomless void. Each arrest and crackdown served only to amplify the urgency, sparking yet another round of innovation from those who inhabited the fringes. This ceaseless cycle illustrated the existential struggle within systems beset by adaptation, as they increasingly battled both power and the pent-up desires of a disillusioned populace. In parallel to this chaotic dance with authority, the emotional narrative of ordinary people grew heavier, experiences layered like the pages of an unwritten novel. Those who ventured into the depths of the deep web began to transform, their identities sculpted through the innumerable threats and treasures lurking within. For some, such spaces became a verdant garden of alternate realities, fostering communities that thrived on shared aspirations. Knowledge seekers, whistleblowers, and those yearning for freedom from societal oppression came together in ways previously unimagined. Their stories of shared triumphs echoed against monumental fears, shaping a collective memory rich with tension, hope, and tenacity. Yet in stark contrast, the specter of violence and victimization lay just beneath the surface. The faces of despair were punctuated by moments of tragic clarity, as crackdowns resulted in the exposure of identities once shrouded in secrecy. The marginalization of individuals trying to escape the oppressiveness of everyday life unfolded into tales of ruin. Betrayal, scams, and financial abuse became the sinewy threads weaving through an intricate tapestry of grief. The very architecture of this hidden realm, designed for connection, began to showcase a disquieting truth. Underneath anonymity lay a vulnerability more profound than most could fathom. As these currents of human experience built towards a crescendo, the allure of invisibility inevitably faced the scrutiny of a watchful world. The transformation of societal norms unwound quietly, yet the emotional resonance bore heavily. It revealed how deeply intertwined aspirations and fears could affect a community. Those who lingered beneath the cloak of anonymity became embroiled in a collective reckoning. The weight of memories woven with hopes and hardships, began to suffocate the very ideals that once spurred movements of change. Simultaneously, public perception shifted dramatically. The rush of information and sensationalized media coverage framed individuals attempting to traverse the complexities of the deep web as pariahs of their own making. Opinions crystallized, casting shadows on any semblance of understanding between the digital and tangible worlds. This new narrative thrived on the back of moral panic, sentiments turning sharply towards stigmatization when expressions of vulnerability manifested through emotional detachment. An intricate tapestry of solidarity slowly began to unravel as communities were pitted against one another, each side grappling with the memories of promises unfulfilled. In this milieu of emotional turbulence, reform initiatives emerged, stemming from an acute recognition of the impact the deep web bore on larger societal frameworks. Activists, influencers, and tech-savvy outsiders joined forces to reimagine concepts of privacy and rights, challenging the encroaching hand of governmental power. However, this movement was anything but uniform. Deep divisions coalesced around philosophies of freedom and accountability, while bitter debates flourished over the morality of anonymity within the digital realm. The differences echoed like fleeting memories, fragments of an unrelenting journey that often veered decisively off course. Yet as the dust settled on this complex dance of change, remnants of consideration lingered in the air. The broader implications of trust vanished within the waves of consequence. leaving society grappling with how to forge ahead amidst lingering uncertainty. The realities unveiled within the deep web exposed more than mere incidents of criminality. They laid bare the very heart of a society yearning for stability. The human contours displayed in this digital landscape serve to highlight both its fragility and its potential, a cautionary tale woven from the vibrant threads of ambition pushing toward the light, against a backdrop darkened by profound psychological strife. As this chapter of history drifts onward, we find ourselves still immersed within an unpredictable dialogue, a slow-motion reflection on how our collective choices continue to shape the present. Those lessons learned echo through time, intimate reminders of the delicate balance between exploration and exploitation, and a valuable tapestry of memories stitched from the aspirations of countless lives. In navigating the spaces of the deep web, we uncover vulnerability amid ambition, stirring whispers of human nature, inviting contemplation on how far we dare to operate in the shadows in hopes of weaving a brighter reality. Each click sends ripples through the interconnected web of existence, hinting at processes of change, lingering hesitation, and the quiet urgency of the human experience. Through this ongoing exploration, the complexity of our pursuit for freedom and connection ultimately reveals that the quest for understanding remains fraught, an eternal tension lying at the very intersections of technology, ethics, and the human heart, intertwining destinies amid a swirling sea of possibility. In tracing these contours of history, we remain acutely aware that as we navigate the unknown, we must confront not only what we seek, but also the truths we may unearth along the way, suspended between memory and a future still yet to be defined. With this understanding, the voyage into the depths of the deep web continues, relentless and rich with unanswered questions, hinting at the profound narratives yet to unfold as our journey brings us deeper into the intricate design of the human experience, still racing into the night. As we stand at the precipice of history, gazing into the shadows cast by the tumultuous journey of the deep web, we must confront the ethereal weight of what remains in its wake. The echoes of ambition, disappointment, hope, and loss reverberate through the air, whispering to those who are willing to listen, urging us to reflect on the delicate fabric of contemporary existence shaped by this enigma. Each thread of this tapestry represents more than a moment in time. It embodies the aspirations and fears not only of those who traverse the digital underworld, but also of countless generations grappling with the constant push-pull between freedom and its accompanying shadows. The legacy of the deep web is not confined to its controversial transactions or clandestine exchanges. It lingers in the hearts of those who were ensnared by its duality. It has woven its way into societal conversations, threading through discourse that touches on morality, privacy, and the pursuit of knowledge that now resonates loudly in the consciousness of our times. As the landscape of the internet continues to evolve, the implications of those early journeys into the unseen become more pronounced, as if the lessons learned are sculpted into the very architecture of our digital lives. The scars of history and the triumphs etched within them serve as a poignant reminder that in seeking liberation, we must navigate the permeable line between enlightenment and despair. In the wake of the unfolding saga, it becomes apparent that institutions once deemed unassailable are now faced with the humbling truth of impermanence. The deep trust society invested in these entities has been tested, each breach unearthed revealing deeper fissures beneath the surface, a fragile structure that yearns for resilience yet often finds itself fragile against the currents of change. As the memory of those who entered this hidden realm fades into the fabric of time, the stories of their exploits shape a cautionary refrain, reminding us that the relentless pursuit of ambition must coalesce with a deep sense of responsibility. Within this dance, generations grapple with inherited narratives, those lessons from history that echo against the walls of their own aspirations and dashed dreams. The ruins of the digital landscape bear witness to the human condition, echoes of cyber markets and brokering exchanges now dissipating like wisps of smoke on the horizon. With each shuttered site and dismantled marketplace comes a somber reflection on what was lost, not merely in terms of currency or transactions, but in the dreams and hopes once kindled upon those uncharted portals. They stand now as ruins of ambition, conspicuous yet haunted spaces where individuals sought connection and understanding, only to find themselves ensnared within the very fabric of their desires. Yet, even amid this disintegration, moments of resilience arise from the echoes of the past, a beacon for those navigating their own journeys. Budding communities forged within the deep web capture the essence of cultural survival, reminding us that in the face of adversity lies an innate human drive to connect, share, and empower each other. Their stories, albeit intermingled with shadows of despair, create an indelible mark on subsequent generations, whispering the importance of shared human experience and solidarity. They lend credence to the quiet persistence of traditions, cherished practices that serve as emotional anchors, guiding individuals through even the darkest of times. As the digital landscape morphs, new methodologies emerge that prioritize ethical explorations and the reclamation of safe spaces. The ongoing dialogue surrounding internet freedom and privacy that ignited from the undercurrents of the deep web now reverberates through legislative halls and public forums alike, transforming into a battleground where issues of civil rights and digital governance engage the very essence of humanity. What was once a perilous exploration teetering on the edge of danger now births pivotal conversations that ripple through society, compelling us to interrogate the notions of anonymity and power. Thus, the aftermath of this deep diving into the abyss continually shapes the contours of our collective future. As we reflect upon the human tendencies that led individuals into shadowy dealings, we recognize the perennial dance of curiosity and caution, desire and regret. The search for knowledge often glosses over the potential consequences inherent in unregulated exploration, an age-old narrative of humanity itself. With this lens, our quest for freedom transforms, casting light upon the nuances of moral ambiguity that accompanies every step forward. In the chronicles forged through clicks and correspondence, there lies a rich tapestry of psychological paradoxes weaving through our existence, speaking to our very nature in pursuit of understanding amidst discomfort. It is here, suspended within the whispers of our collective memory, that we find ourselves at the intersection of past and future, confronted by an essential truth. Our existence is a continuum shaped by the footprints of those who came before us, capturing narratives filled with lessons learned and unlearned. The pursuit of understanding the digital underbelly has unveiled profound human truths that seep into the very essence of who we are. Each heartbeat resonates with the stories carried from one generation to the next, a lineage of experience imprinted deeply within our individual and collective consciousness. In this ongoing journey, the deep web remains a light within us, a testament to our relentless pursuit of connection in its many forms. The narratives birthed from the shadows serve as a poignant reminder that we carry within us the echoes of all who dared to dream, question, and reach beyond what is known. We are bound to a cycle of memory that continues to evolve, reshaping our understanding of ethics, ambition, and the essence of community. Within these reflections, we uncover the gentle resilience that persists across time, reaffirming our humanity amidst the unfolding complexities of existence. As we slowly draw to close, the stories whispered into the corridors of the deep web leave a ruminative imprint, inviting us to consider the profound interplay between creation and consequence. The ghosts of those past linger, ghosts of ambition seeking both solace and understanding as they take their place among the ruins of lost dreams. The world thus becomes a canvas etched with experiences, perhaps imperfect yet undeniably beautiful in its quest for belonging. In this quiet reflection, we are left with a lingering sense of wonder as we turn away from the stories behind the screen, the proverbial curtain that stretches between what is seen and what remains undiscovered. Each fragment of history, residing in the uncharted waters of digital memory, captures the essence of our collective journey. For on this path marked by shadows and light, we traverse not only the complexities of human behavior and ambition, but the very fabric of humanity itself. As day gives way to night, we find ourselves gently cradled in the silence of contemplation, carrying within us the echoes of a rich tapestry woven from dreams, knowledge, mistakes, and emerging truths, ever vigilant as we step forward into a future still not fully embraced. Here, in the introspection that follows the symphony of the deep web, we whisper farewell, not just to the digital shadows, but to our pasts, with a hopeful gaze toward the promise of what lies ahead, as we continue to explore the innumerable facets of our shared human story, suspended beautifully between memory and what is yet to come.